Yeah.
Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. Chapter 32. Okay, Sierra, said Kyle. Your turn. Sierra flicked the spinner. The pointy tip ended up in the yellow 200 zone. So she went ahead and pulled a yellow card. It's definitely for the 200 section, she said, showing her clue to Miguel before revealing it to Kyle and Akimi. Weird, said Miguel. What? Said Akimi before Kyle could. Well, the 200s are where they keep books on world religions, but there are 2 numbers on this card, said Sierra. Maybe this time we need to find 2 books, suggested Kyle. I don't know, said Sierra, studying her card. 220.5203 is obviously a call number. Obviously, said Jimmy. But this other number isn't in the proper format. 2/20/15. February 20th, 2015, said Akimi. Quick, what happened on that date? Nobody knows, said Kyle, because it hasn't happened yet. Oh, right. Okay. How about February 20th, 1915? That shows you how old this book is, because 2015 hadn't happened yet when the book was written. That was the opening day of the Panama Pacific International Exposition in San Francisco, said Sierra. Jaws dropped. Sorry, I'm a big World's Fair fan. Everybody else just nodded.
Sorry, I accidentally unmuted you.
You muted me. You don't want to hear me read?
Were there still World's Fairs when this book was written?
Well, so they're talking about the 1915 World Fair. Not 2015, but 1915.
When was the last World's Fair?
I don't know. Sounds like something to do some research on. Finally, Miguel spoke up. Look, let's just go down to the 200s room and find 220.5203. We can figure out the second chuck later. The team once again trooped down to the second floor and worked their way around the circular balcony. You guys, said Sierra, looking across the atrium at the statues. Remember how they switched all the hologram authors when Bridget Wadge did her extreme challenge? Yep, said Kyle. She was doing good till she got to that Russian dude. What Russian dude? Asked Miguel, who hadn't witnessed Bridget's elimination. Guy who wrote 5 or 6 books, Sierra could tell you about. But look, said Sierra, now all the author statues are the same ones they were last night. So, said Kyle thoughtfully, if they can switch them around, these must be clues for our game, blurted Akimi. She pulled out a pen and notepad. I'll write down their names. Start with the guy under the 000s wedge of the Wonder Dome, suggested Kyle. Right. Akimi read the labeled pedestals and jotted down all the authors' names. Thomas Wolfe, Booker T. Washington, Stephen Sondheim, George Orwell, Lewis Carroll, Dr. Seuss, Maya Angelou, Shel Silverstein, Pseudonymous Bosch, Todd Strasser. So, said Akimi when she'd finished writing, do you think this game could get any more complicated? Maybe, said Kyle. It's possible that Mr. Lemoncello left a couple different paths to the same solution. Well, personally, I can only take one path at a time, said Akimi. So let's go find 220 point whatever. Should be in the next row of bookcases, said Miguel. Here we go, 220.5203, the King James Bible. Achter Libre, an excellent choice, said a man with a thick German accent.
No, bro, he's at 4 health.
And we're face to face with a semi-transparent guy in medieval garb with a fur-trimmed cap and a beard that looked like 2 raccoon tails sewn together under his nose and chin. I am Johannes Gensfleisch zur Leben zum Gutenberg, said the holographic image, who had ink stains all over his fingertips. You created the Gutenberg Bibles on your printing press, gushed Sierra. Ja, 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 big bestseller. You need help with der Bible? I am at your service, he bowed. Oh, okay, said Akimi, turning to Miguel. Take it away, Miguel. Herr Gutenberg, sir, we're looking for 2-20-15. Da ist einfach. Huh? That is easy. 2-20-15 is Exodus chapter 20, verse 15. Of course, said Miguel. Exodus is the second book of the Bible. 20 and 15 are the chapter and verse. He flipped through some pages. Here we go. Exodus chapter 20, verse 15. It's one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal. Chapter 33. Let's put the 2 new cards on the table, said Charles. He and his so-called teammates, Andrew and Haley, Charles planned on dumping them both right before he made his glorious solo exit from the library, had scouted out the library together for hours looking for more book cover matches. Peckelman wasn't nearly as good with the Dewey Decimal System as he had claimed to be, and Charles needed someone to do that sort of thing for him. His father always hired tutors or research assistants for him whenever Charles had to do a major paper or report. Finally, around six in, coincidentally, the 600s room, they scored twice, finding T for You and Me, 641.3372, and Why Wait to Lose Weight, 613.2522. Now their picture puzzle had only 4 blanks remaining. Okay, said Andrew. I think it's pretty clear. Woolly, blank, walk up the skinny, blank, blank, house Indian, and 19, blank. Charles nodded and said, interesting, even though he knew Peckelman was way off. Hello, said Haley. That doesn't make any sense. Sure it does, said Andrew. No, it doesn't. In his head, Charles had decided the clues so far as ewe, a female sheep, blank, walk out, the, T plus H plus E, way, blank, blank, in, past, blank. But out loud he said, I think we just need to tweak Andrew's translation a little. Fine, go ahead, I don't care. Andrew slumped down in his seat to sulk. How about she, blank, walks out the skinny, blank, blank, house, 500, and past, blank. Where'd you get that? Asked Haley. Where'd you get she? Asked Haley. From sheep, the card you gave us. Actually, I think the sheep is supposed to represent you because you, E-W-E, is a female sheep. Fascinating, said Charles. I didn't figure that out. What he did figure out was that Haley Daly was much smarter than he had assumed. She could be a serious threat, and no way was Charles sharing his prize with anybody, especially her. And how did you get 500 from Indiana? She asked. Simple. Indianapolis, the capital of Indiana, is home to a race known as the Indy 500. Okay, so how about you, blank, walk out the skinny, blank, blank, in, because the Nancy Drew book was about an in, 500 pass or past, blank. Now Peckelman piped up. That makes more sense than what you said, Charles. Indeed, said Charles, sounding magnanimous. Perhaps the clues are telling us to locate a secret skinny passageway 500 paces past some landmark here in the library. Andrew was excited. This is a little like the pirate map from Treasure Island. Or, said Haley, maybe these clues are telling us we need to go out and find the 4 books we haven't found yet. We should split up. I'll go back to the 400s room. We've already been there, said Andrew. Well, you guys might have missed something. Good idea, said Charles. He figured if Haley Daly wasted time retracing steps he and Andrew had already taken, she would find nothing new and become less of a threat. Let's meet back here at, say, 7. Fine. Haley left the meeting room. Charles went to the door and closed it. You know what we really need? He said to Andrew. Chocolate milk and maybe some cookies. Charles shook his head. No, Andrew. We need whatever clues Kyle Keeley and his team have found, especially if they have our missing cards. Dun, dun, dun.